The Out of Bounds Show podcast is powered by the DeWalt tools at Ace Bolt and Screw. Visit acebolt.net for a location near you.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Hey, I'm glad to be back in studio. That was a quick trip to Stark Vegas. We were on remote yesterday from an undisclosed location in the Starkville area. But back in the beautiful, luxurious, state-of-the-art Bank Plus studio.
Yeah, you damn right.
We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Show is brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook and award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. I think we've got some gift certificates here that they dropped off yesterday. Did you see them?
New, I have the old one. I have some from the last set.
I think there's some out on the table.
I'll have to fish those in then.
I think they dropped off 20 free rounds of golf from Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Yeah, so that's a good thing too. We'll do a giveaway today, and I want to give away some Jonesy Q rubs also since it's Thursday and weekend starts this afternoon, and you may light the grill and throw something really really yummy on there as you open a Modelo with a lime. By the way, I'm a fan. I'm 100. I'm still 100. I'm staying at 100%, but that could move with the NFL draft coming up April 29th, which is what? A week from today.
That's right.
NFL draft, baby. Now, that's a great night, too, for a little steak and Modelo night or whatever you're doing. Deer poppers. That's been the thing recently. And then ribeye poppers. I had some of those welcome home beef ribeye poppers out in the left field lounge, and I was like, that's filthy.
That sounds like the next level.
Yeah.
Like ribeye. Like I've had the deer poppers, ribeye popper.
That blew me away.
That's hardcore.
It is hardcore.
Yeah.
And so this group, it was a group from the coast. They are hardcore. Everything they do is 190 miles per hour. I like them. But they did ribeye poppers from Welcome Home Beef. That's another level, like you said. Deer meat poppers, which I've had in the last couple of weeks out there too, are great. And then deer sausage, all that, but ribeye poppers is a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Yeah, and if you're throwing in the bacon and the peppers in that bad boy and wrapping it all up, that is some pop.
Yeah, I used some Jonesy Q last night, but it wasn't on a
ribeye
popper. I went more rustic.
Okay,
went with the cast iron chicken.
Did you?
Yeah, a little.
What kind of? I mean, what part of the chicken?
Just two breasts.
Two breasts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just money honey, a few other things, a little spice, cast iron, do a little pasta with it.
Money honey's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Love rub and money honey combo on chicken
there you go.
That's my go-to. And Wendy loves it. So that I didn't do that last night, though. But I cooked, too. I did a pork tenderloin.
Nice.
Yeah, and a sirloin filet from Welcome Home Beef.
There you go.
Which is really, really good. Well, good morning. All right. Hey, I ran into a guy over the weekend that looks exactly like Beau Bridges. Do you know who that is?
No, I do not.
Okay, it's Jeff Bridges' brother.
Oh.
They're actors.
Yeah,
obviously.
I know Jeff Bridges.
Okay, Beau Bridges has been successful too, just not quite
just not Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, but this guy that I ran in, he was the one with the deer with the poppers Saturday night.
Nice.
And he had the biggest Komodo Joe grill I have ever seen. And there was no room on it when I walked over to his house.
I know Beau Bridges. I know his face.
Yeah, you know his face now,
I didn't know
right?
who he was. Yeah, but I know who he is
this
now.
This guy has the same mannerisms and looks like Beau Bridges.
Dude, isn't that the quintessential? That's what I think of when I think of someone who was old in the 80s.
Okay,
that's
look. Interesting.
Like that hair, that face, that's just he just looks like someone who knows how to drink a lot and stay upright.
Well,
that's the vibe.
Well, we all know that guy from college, right? He's usually pretty thick.
Yeah.
And you always wonder how he can keep,
like
drinking the Miller Lights even at like 11 a.m.
He played.
I'm not 11 a.m. 1 a.m.
He played like
11 a.m.
Cool, 11 a.m. Yeah.
Well, that's what happened.
That's where he starts.
COVID.
That's when he starts. And then
You saw that graph of drinking in the United States
at what time?
Post-COVID,
Yeah.
like a week into COVID, people started drinking at 10 a.m.
Spiked.
Good
Well,
Lord.
what are you gonna do? But yeah,
Thank God we had our show.
at times, right? So sometimes it sounded like we started drinking.
Well, that's a normal day for us on the air.
Oh man, that guy looks like he could have played, quarterback, linebacker, and first base all for like a 2A.
For a 2A team, no doubt. Yeah, utility guy, had to play everything in high school.
He was the most athletic person in 3 grades at his at his high school.
I'm trying to think what his biggest part was, but I don't have time to go through that. I see right here the Fabulous Baker Boys. I remember that.
What a start
You don't.
to the show.
But let me just. Oh, he was in Jerry Maguire.
Yeah,
that's right. God, what a great movie. Jerry Maguire, man. That was really good. Travolta's wife was in there. She passed away. Terrible.
Show me the money!
No kidding. She's a beautiful woman.
Nobody else has
Rocket
a Jerry
Man.
Maguire drop on tap.
Dude, you did good
the
there.
show has a Jerry Maguire
That
drop
was
on top.
Cuba Gooding.
Yeah.
Dude's awesome.
You gonna show me the money?
Oh, he's such a great actor. In that part, he just, he made the movie for sure. We just went from Beau Bridges to Cuba Gooding Jr. Well, whatever. All right.
Dynamic.
Well, Blake and I were talking about, let's segue here. Good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. Brought to you by whatever we're talking about. We'll give away a couple of, we're going to give away at least two rubs today from Jonesy Q, Blake.
Oh, at least.
But I may add to it. And let me get a little inventory on our Dancing Rabbit golf rounds, and then we'll work back from there. A couple of different ways that you can hit us up. The Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line is 601-707-3750. We'll go back. We're going back and forth way too much. 707-3750. Twitter handle @BowBounds, brought to you by Ace Bolt and Screw, powered by DeWalt Tools. And then the Mississippi Ag John Deere Tractor text line is 601-885-3776. 885-3776. And again, we're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Do we have some people on our text line that are reaching out and saying hello?
Yeah, Ryan just said he wants to bring in some rare bourbon he has so that we can drink it. I said, okay, yeah, come on.
Oh my gosh, I love the way that Ryan thinks.
I guess we're recorded tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's Friday.
That's right. No, look, he because we talked about bourbon. He says he's got some unique bourbon that's not being sold in Mississippi. And he wants to bring it in, taste test something.
Ah, okay.
I'm down to taste test.
Well, if that's what we have to do,
yeah,
for our listeners,
to be fancy, you say we're going to sample some.
That's right,
because we're not drinking.
That's right. When
we're going to sample.
That's what they say in the restaurant business.
That's right.
Like I've been to the Manship and Bravo and
the rep,
Kessler and all these places. Yeah, for these samples because they'll call us.
Let's sample this new line.
Yeah, we're not drinking. We're sampling.
The whole management staff is hammered by 3:30.
It's 3:00 in the afternoon. We're on our fourth bourbon. What's happening here?
No one's had.
And I'm getting paid to do this.
No one's had anything but some rice.
Yeah. Hey, we've got some crackers to go with this. What? All right. What is True Maroon talk? Do we owe him some cigars? We do.
Yeah.
All right,
Havana.
All right. So we'll get with Havana, and we'll get him his cigars. Pookie says, why in the hell is it 38 degrees this morning?
That's a great question.
I started my car from the shower this morning. That worked out well because I knew it was going to be a little chilly. Dude, yesterday morning in Starkville, I walked out about 6 a.m.
Brisk?
It was.
Brisk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were people running everywhere. I was like, what are these people doing?
Get a life, losers.
Good grief. I thought I was ambitious just being up by whatever it was, 5:30 or something. War Eagle Rich says, good morning. Good morning to you. True Maroon, Pookie, Ryan, White Denzel, Chris, Bush League, PT4 MSU. We've got Mr. DX. Can't figure out where he is. Is he in South Carolina? Must be. That was a very random segment. We're going to get our act together on the big board. I can't figure out what's going on with the third pick in the draft. We'll jump in straight ahead. Welcome in. Good morning. Big board coming up next on the Out of Bounds Show, presented by East Bolton Screw. The Out of Bounds Show podcast is brought to you by Boar's Head, premium meats, cheeses, and hummus. Boar's Head, compromise elsewhere.
What's on the big board? What's on the big board?
Well, I definitely don't know what the San Francisco 49ers are going to do with the third pick in the NFL draft. All these insiders are all over the place. So Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson to Jacksonville and Urban Meyer. Check. Zach Wilson from BYU, who, that kid's pretty freaky talented, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets around some good coaching, I'm not a QB insider, but even the last couple of weeks, I've been going to YouTube and checking this dude out because I didn't watch a lot of BYU football.
Shock.
I know some of you degenerate gamblers did, but and we're all for you. Man, that kid, he's got some stuff. So Zach Wilson, BYU to the Jets, God bless him. I mean, they do have some new people there, but they roll through new people like every 4 years. So what does that do for me?
Yeah.
You know, the Jets can't win. Weird. Number 3 is the San Francisco 49ers. When I was growing up, they were unbelievable. Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, and all of them. Jerry Rice and Ronnie. I loved Ronnie Lott. And, John Taylor and Dwight Clark. And, Roger Craig. Nice guy. We had him on years ago. I just called him randomly. He answered the phone, talked forever. Good guy. Where did Roger Craig play college? Nebraska? He played for Tom Osborne? Anyway, man, they had a team. They had a team. So I don't know, Blake. I don't know what. And then the Saints are looking at what the Falcons are going to do because that's a tie here locally. I mean, we can get to Atlanta, well, on a plane in less than an hour, but 5.5 hours if you leave right now. And then we've got NOLA down the road at 2.5. So those are, teams that we swim. They swim in our pool or whatever you want to say. And San Francisco 49ers at number 3. There's some people that believe Mac Jones. That doesn't make sense to me for John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan to do a big trade to go get Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones may be a nice player in the NFL, but then again, I don't know who else outside, who else is jumping off the page. Trey Lance. Most of you didn't watch North Dakota State. And then Justin Fields is with Ohio State. And there's a lot of question marks around Justin because he, like Mac, well, and Trey at that level, all of them walked out with more talent than their competition.
Yeah, when you're a 30-point favorite in conference, almost
what does that
every
do for
week,
me?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that do for me?
That's the one thing Zach.
When Ohio State plays Purdue in Northwestern and Illinois,
Yeah.
and Maryland and teams that
Rutgers.
Rutgers, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah. Zach Wilson is arguably the only one who truly had to elevate talent in order to win ball games.
Right.
Week in and week out. My question to you would be this.
Oh, my goodness.
Just to play devil's advocate, because I've been anti-Mac Jones at number 3 since the beginning. However, the L.A. Rams made a big play, got Jared Goff, and got to a Super Bowl before getting rid of him. Now, was it worth the money they spent to get Jared Goff? No, but only because they lost the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
If you win it, it's worth every penny you spend.
Sure.
So my question to you would be this. Is Kyle Shanahan and the talent he's got there in San Francisco and what he's got, is he good enough to take Mac Jones on a rookie contract and potentially make a run at something?
No.
Okay.
No. They only have one winning season since he's been there. But I don't want to focus too much on San Francisco because I want to stay in the big picture stuff. Like you've said, how many quarterbacks will go, Blake? In the 4th pick, will Atlanta go quarterback because Matt Ryan only has a couple more years? I wouldn't. I'd go ahead and try to win now. It's a win-now league. I'd go get Kyle Pitts, the incredible tight end out of Florida who's supposed to be the best tight end in 20 years maybe, or since Vernon Davis, to come out of the draft. If they move out and the Broncos move in, what do Elway and the Broncos do? I don't know. Carolina already got their guy, so you think that they're going to stand pat and kind of see what happens at number 8. And then I got my Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott at number 10. And what all is going to happen between number 4 and number 10 when we get to Dallas. Who knows? Stephen Jones, Jerry's son, still talking about the safety position. I mean, they act like they have to go to Mars to get safeties. Seriously, this is an ongoing 3-year debate. I was listening to a clip from Stephen Jones yesterday on the way home from Starkville. And Stephen Jones is talking about safeties like you have to go to Venus to go find safeties. Literally, it's blowing my mind. It's a multi-billion-dollar organization and company, and they act like you have to go to the North Pole and dig down 5 miles to find a safety. I can drive 20 minutes from here and find 4 safeties that can play in the Southeastern Conference. Like, safeties from Dallas to Atlanta are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's why I get cracked up when people get hot and bothered about, safeties committing in college football.
Just need a little coaching. Get a little
They're
coaching. Everywhere.
If you gave me 2 days to drive around the state of Mississippi, I could find 20 of them. So I don't know what that means, Blake. When you're 3 years in and you're still talking about safeties, that tells me you don't run your organization real well. Now, here's another debate that Blake and I started after the show that I'd like to throw out to you. Blake told me that yesterday was one of the 30-year anniversary of the Atlanta Falcons drafting Brett Favre in the second round.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. So, and eventually Brett would be shipped to Green Bay, and the rest is history. And Drew Brees was drafted in the second round.
That's right. He was the last time the draft was 31 picks in first round. It was right before the last expansion.
So here's my question. Who's the better quarterback?
Oh.
Drew Brees or Brett Favre? So they're both heavily tied here. Favre is from here, so we've got a big pro-Favre fan base. Drew Brees led the New Orleans Saints since 2006 to heights that they had never experienced, including the Lombardi Trophy and multiple playoff appearances. So where do you go? Do you go, who's the best second-round pick quarterback, and who's the best of the two? Brees or Favre? Two totally different guys stylistically. I mean, Brees was a pocket passer in a great offense that was built by Sean Payton. Favre hooked up with another QB guru, and that would be Mike Holmgren, who coached the Packers for the better part of Brett Favre's career, although he had some other coaches come in. And who would you rather have for 5 years, 6, 7 years? Would you rather have Drew Brees or Brett Favre? And why? The Mississippi Ag John Deere Tractor text line is 601-885-3776. So they both won Lombardi trophies. They both made it to NFC championship games. And they were both a lot of fun to watch on Sunday. Too close to call? What?
Can I give you some of the best second-round quarterbacks of all time in the NFL draft?
Hold on. Jason says Drew is fundamental. Brett was electric.
Those can both be accurate.
Yeah.
Brett Favre played football.
Gunslinger mentality.
Much more like the way we talk about some basketball players do when we talk about like isolation backyard basketball. That was Brett. Brett Favre was the definition of picking up a ball, taking 5 guys you've never seen before, and playing a game in a dirty lot out behind your house, right?
Yeah.
Like that was Brett Favre. Hey, I'm going to draw up some routes in the sand. Y'all go run around. I'm going to run around back here till one of you gets open. I'm going to chunk it to you.
Yeah.
He made plays that's the only way you could describe it. He was the he was one of the most exciting players to watch at the quarterback position in his prime.
Yeah, but so was Brees.
For much different reasons though. He was a surgeon, a dissector.
Jade says, "Give me Favre with Sean Payton." Interesting. The Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. The SEC Insider Hit is coming up next. We're going to give away a couple of bottles of Jonesy Q Rub today. Maybe some rounds of golf, too. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. Welcome in. Good morning. The Out of Bounds Show podcast is presented by Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road. Your golf game starts with Edwin Watts Golf Shop.
Press the button, my friend.
The Out of Bounds Show is live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge in the Bank Plus studio.
Check it out.
And good morning. Pookie still cracks me up on the Mississippi Ag John Deere tractor text line 601-885-3776. How the hell is it 38 degrees this morning? It feels great, though. You know, I mean, I can handle that knowing that it's going to, get warmer throughout the morning. I don't even know what the weather is this weekend, Wild Man. Do you? Do you know, Sweet Cheeks?
I have not looked because it's not. I'm not. Going
I've
to a
actually
baseball
been
series.
busy running a business, so I haven't been able to be a meteorologist too.
Yeah,
but I am an NFL draft scout.
When I'm not going somewhere,
Yeah.
I'm less worried about the weather. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good point.
You know, like
I'm
if I
here
don't-
this weekend,
so
thank
I'm
God.
not really interested in. Like I don't. If it rains, okay, I'll be inside. If it doesn't rain, I'll do things outside. You know,
It actually looks pretty good. I mean, there's a little bit of a chance for showers yet tomorrow and Sunday, but I think we could be okay. I hope Ole Miss. I hope Oxford's clear. I want everybody to have a great time up there.
that starts tonight, by the way.
Oh, we got Ole Miss tonight
That's
in LSU.
correct. We have two.
It's weird not having
Yeah.
LSU being. They're 4-11 and not 11-4.
Yep.
Tonight looks amazing in Oxford. Tomorrow's only 30%, and Saturday's 60%, so they should be good.
Oh yeah.
Sunday,
It's going to be chilly this
well,
weekend.
they're not. They don't have a game on Sunday. Sunday's perfect. Well,
Their highs are 60,
still hang around and have a beverage or something.
65, 68, and 69 this weekend. So that's going to
okay.
be a little chilly for a late April baseball series.
A little pullover.
Yeah, that's a late April baseball. That's a little chilly.
Okay.
But I saw, talking Kentucky Derby, I saw, because that was what we were already talking.
I talked to a
Good
buddy of mine
transition.
who's going to he's going to his 15th Kentucky Derby next weekend.
Well, they got their latest ever recorded snowfall like 2 days ago.
Really?
So they were running the horses in. The track was cleared off of snow. Like there was snow all over the place, which
Are you
they've never had that before.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I mean, we're seeing that kind of across the country right now, where there's a really weird snow. It's like cold snap, snow, weather stuff going on right now.
I drove in the 90s. When I was in school, we drove to Lexington in the snow. It was weird.
Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. And saw one of the worst college football games I've ever witnessed. No, it was.
You went to Lexington, Kentucky.
Well,
so-
no, it was Mississippi State, Kentucky, 1996.
Yeah.
Neither team believed in scoring.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest
It
with
was
you.
Bill Curry's last year as their coach, and the next year they would hire Hal Mummy and Mike Leach.
There were things that could have foreshadowed what you were walking into.
Yeah,
Where you were.
we stayed the
teams
whole
you were-
game. Seriously,
No wonder you want games to be shorter. You lived through that.
I mean, we stayed the whole game.
See, that's what it is. It's you were.
It was like 10-6. It was terrible.
Between the Aints and Mississippi State's inability to ever know what the end zone looked like.
Right.
That's why you want football games to be shorter, because you're
I want football games to be shorter because it does take 4 hours to play
you
60
have,
minutes.
You have PTSD of
I mean,
watching your team not score for 60 minutes.
Well, yeah. But you understand what I'm saying.
No, I
it
get
doesn't take 4 hours
I
to
get
play
it.
60 minutes. So I'm just saying what I'm saying. Anyway, where was I going with that?
We were talking about, I don't know. I mentioned the Kentucky Derby.
No, I mean, we were just discussing something else. Kentucky, Mississippi State.
Baseball. We were talking about
Yeah,
baseball.
no, let's go
weather.
back to Ole Miss.
There you go.
Real quick. Then I'll get into some football. Give me 1 second
We're
here.
on fire today.
Yeah, we are. We are. Hang on. The SEC Insider Hit this morning. Let me drop this. Let me get in Small Miss. The SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by XL Water and Coffee. So they will deliver water and Gatorade and bubbler to your door, or just a water cooler unit like we have up here in the studio, which is awesome too. Go to wateratmydoor.com. Get 50% off your initial order with discount code BOUNDS. It's my last name, and it's in the show, right? So wateratmydoor.com. Wateratmydoor.com, and 50% off your initial order, discount code BOUNDS. Bounds. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. So Ole Miss plays LSU tonight, Blake, and they need 2 or 3 or a sweep.
Yeah, are we being over dramatic to say it is a must-win series? You've lost 3 series in a row after starting 6-0.
No, it's not over dramatic. They need to win the series, period.
I agree.
LSU's 4-11.
And you're at home.
They're not a good baseball team. They're reeling.
I agree.
They don't really have an identity, which is, and I don't see this as an LSU team that like flips the switch in 2 weeks and makes this crazy. A lot of times they've done that. They've never been 4-11. Let's say they were like 8-7, and people were asking questions, and then all of a sudden they rip off, 3 straight series wins to end the year, beat a couple of people in the SEC tournament, really turn it on, and so on. I don't see that with this LSU baseball team. Ole Miss is coming off a weekend where they could have easily won the series, and they had really, really good starting pitching. So if Hoagland and Nikhazy and McDaniel give them what they want, they're going to win the series. The question is, can they sweep the series? Now, if they struggle for some reason, then maybe LSU makes it interesting. There, that's my analysis on the Ole Miss hosting LSU. Is that game on SEC Network tonight? I would think it is.
Let me find out for you real quick.
I don't know who would be calling that game because Ben McDonald's doing Orioles and he's kind of back and forth.
SEC Network will be Arkansas at South Carolina at 6, and then at 7 on ESPNU it'll be LSU at Ole Miss.
Oh, good. So we get it. All right. So throw some steaks on the grill. Watch the Rebs hosting the Tigers. Bianco against Maneri. That's Bianco's alma mater.
Future job, right?
No, he's not getting hired there. Unless he wins the Natty this year, which again, all of Ole Miss's hopes and dreams, just like Mississippi State's, are in front of them. I wouldn't be surprised to see either team in Omaha. We'll just have to see how this bad boy plays out.
Yeah,
I wonder how many SEC teams they're going to match up against each other in the regional/super regional.
I don't think I've ever seen it in a regional where there's 2 SEC teams, but they like to put them where if they win each regional, they go together in the supers, right?
Right, which is, what I was saying.
Yeah. So right now they are, D1 Baseball is projecting 9 SEC teams get in.
Really?
With Kentucky being a potential 10th. Should they?
Mingione, former Hell State assistant.
So they've got 9 pegged right now, 10 potentially, which would mean you've got at least 2 or 3 of those are going to be matched up.
I have a question for you. Do you think that, what's his name? Nick Mingione?
Yes.
I don't know. He's the head, for our listeners, he was an assistant under Cohen.
Yep.
And then he was hired from Mississippi State, and he's in like year 5 or something at Kentucky.
Yep.
He was the lead recruiter on Mangum. Should Nick Mingione be in the Mississippi State Sports Hall of Fame?
By proxy?
Yes. Our Mississippi Ag text line is 601-885-3776. So should he be in the Mississippi State Athletics Hall of Fame?
He at least needs a paragraph in Jake's blurb, right?
Right.
If he doesn't get his own spot, he at least needs a section.
I was the lead recruiter on Jake Mangum, who was going to Alabama and then decided he wanted to go to Mississippi State.
So by virtue of that, then you know who's automatically in the Mississippi State Hall of Fame, right?
Cohen?
No. Think same process, different sport.
John Hevesy?
John Hevesy!
Yes!
He's a lock!
Yes. Oh, I like that. Mingione and Hevesy was the number 1 recruiter on Dak Prescott, and Mingione was the number 1 recruiter on Jake Mangum. I mean, they both wore 15.
Ooh, so tasty and ironic.
Oh. How about that?
That would be incredible. That's the first face you should see when you walk into Mississippi State Hall of Fame should be John Hevesy. I brought Dak Prescott to Mississippi State. That's just all you have to say.
Isn't that unbelievable? A guy who was evidently scared to spend the night out as a recruiter
went to Halton, Louisiana.
To find Dak Prescott. I'm
surprised Heb didn't want to make him an offensive lineman.
I want to ask John Hevesy if he had to spend the night in northern Louisiana, because the whole joke was that Hevesy refused to really drive more than 20 miles away from campus. And I guess a Hilton Garden Inn and Suite scared him.
Yeah.
Even pre-COVID.
It's tough.
Although I don't think you can get COVID at Hilton Suites. But I'll whisper that. Live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. The show is brought to you by XL Water and Coffee. We want you to go to this website, wateratmydoor.com. 50% off your initial order with the promo code BOUNDS. They will deliver bottled water to your door, Gatorade or Bubbler, or they'll just drop off a unit. And, of course, you can get the tanks whenever you need refills. I just called them tanks.
That's probably... jugs, water jugs.
Water jugs.
Probably more accurate.
Yeah. We're on our second one because I like to stay hydrated.
Yes.
You, on the other hand, and we've had this discussion, you do not drink enough water.
Can I give you a real honest truth? I've only used it once. And it's not because it's not good. It's just because I don't drink water.
Okay, we had this discussion like a month or so ago.
Yeah.
You need to focus on hydrating.
Yeah, no, you're accurate.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
We're not debating that.
All right.
Here's what we are debating.
Hydration. Let me give you the XL deal. Hydration, filtration, healthy. XL Water and Coffee. Wateratmydoor.com. Go ahead.
What's the promo code?
Bounds.
Boom. Nailed it.
That's
All
not
right.
hard to
Yeah,
remember.
Easy. So here's the real debate, and this is raging now on the Twitters and on the text line.
Oh.
And so we got to hash this out because we'll probably have to ask Steve Palazzolo at 8:30.
Okay.
Who are you taking? Who's the best second-round quarterback? If you're going to take one and you get them for 5-6 years of their prime, however you want to say it, or you just get them for their whole career, however you want to say it. Drew Brees, Brett Favre. Who's the best second-round quarterback?
Favre.
You've said that so quickly.
It's just by a fingernail.
Why?
Because I think Drew needed Sean, and Favre needed Holmgren, but he also had a couple other coaches, and he was still great. And did I like the fact that Favre was undisciplined? No. But his arm strength and his ability to extend a play, Blake, and I understand he threw picks. Almost everybody does. But Favre's ability to extend plays and his mobility and his arm strength still gave me an opportunity on 3rd and 4th down.
If everything broke down.
Yeah, if everything broke down.
Yeah.
And I know Drew is super accurate, super smart, precision, just locked in Drew Brees. And I know Favre partied too much in the 90s, and maybe that, I don't know if that necessarily cost them a championship. I mean, I know he was gutted when they went back-to-back Super Bowls, and in the second when they lost to the Denver Broncos. And I've heard him talk about how you go from this high, the highest of the high of winning a Super Bowl. And the next season you follow it up by going back, which is virtually impossible.
So hard.
It's virtually impossible in the NFL. And you're there, and you think because you were there and you just won the Lombardi Trophy,
that it's yours again.
and you're going to win it.
Yeah.
And you lose it. And he just talked about how gut-wrenching that was and how he couldn't shake it.
Okay.
But I'll go with Favre just by a smidge. I love both of them. You know I'm a big Drew Brees guy. But if the play breaks down and I've got a guy who can still sling it 30 yards on a rope.
Yeah.
And you know what else? Favre could play in terrible weather, Blake.
Correct.
And he could play in a dome.
Drew Brees.
And Drew, on the other hand, and I'm not Drew played 8 times a year in the Superdome. He also played once a year in the Georgia Dome.
Yep.
That was 9. He also got to play down in Tampa, which was usually north of 75, 80 degrees.
At worst, raining.
Right. And it's not like, I mean, if you pull Carolina in December, but he played in some really, really
advantageous situations.
No question.
Yeah. And
and I can drop Favre in the North Pole and have a chance.
And he still slings it.
Okay, and he played at Lambeau, and that's why Eli was so impressive. He played out in the Meadowlands with the winds gusting all the time.
Yeah.
And then Eli went on the road and won monster road games, but he won one year in Green Bay.
Yeah. You could say the same for Brady.
And
even though his arm strength wasn't high, his ability to throw in New England should tell you he had enough arm strength to do what you had to do, right?
You know, when you can do it in inclement weather,
Exactly.
that's, to me, in the NFL, is pretty special.
Yeah. And the stats don't lie. I like that you made your argument without going to stats, but those stats that you're talking about don't lie in the indoor-outdoor splits for Brett Favre. I mean, for Drew Brees. Brett Favre didn't have that. I mean, it was what it was.
Drew going to Chicago and Lambeau and the Giants and Philadelphia Eagles,
struggled.
some of the NFC teams.
He struggled outdoors.
Just wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
He's great player, but Favre could play anywhere and sling it through slush and ice.
Yeah.
So could Eli. When you can sling it through inclement weather in December and January, you're special. Right?
We say that Drew Brees maybe not necessarily underachieved, certainly not individually, but that his teams, maybe should have made one more. Do you feel like did Favre accomplish what you feel like he should have accomplished given his greatness, or is he more Aaron Rodgers-esque of like maybe there was more on the table for him?
He went to 2 Super Bowls. That's pretty amazing. He also went to how many NFC Championship games? He went to 1 with Minnesota. How many to go to in Green? Well, I just referenced 2 because he won a Super Bowl, which means he had to win one. He went to another Super Bowl.
So
he had to win that
one,
NFC Championship game. I don't know how many more they went to.
He's a 3-time MVP.
Okay. Three-time MVP.
3-time All-Pro first team, 3-time second team All-Pro, 11-time Pro Bowler.
And honestly, Blake, I think that Green Bay is they run their franchise too conservatively, and they've done it to Aaron, and to a certain extent they did it to Favre. Okay. Also, the fact that Sterling Sharp retired because of a neck or back deal.
Yeah.
A lot of what might have been had he not. Boy, he and Favre were really getting going. I just Green Bay is never a franchise that really goes after it, and I don't understand that. They don't have an owner, and it's a little bit different deal.
But their fans are diehard. I mean, it's one of the most devoted fan base, which is what's so interesting.
No
that
doubt.
They don't demand more from their front office at times, I guess.
Yeah. Well, who would you go to? Their executive team is kind of wonky. It's weird. But they don't make a move. They're way too conservative. They would never do what Sean McVay just did and what the 49ers just did. Right?
Correct. In paying to remove your first-round quarterback?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's think about what is it Les Snead?
That's correct. General manager for LA.
He basically said, if we don't pick in the top 10, we don't really care about picks. It's the same dude. The same guy at 22, you can get the same guy at 38.
We'll pick the best available or take the best trade, and we're not really worried about it. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I mean, it takes stones, but
it's a new age analytical mentality. We'll see how.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. Well,
Green Bay has sat on the sideline with Aaron Rodgers for years and not made a move, and that's not the way to go.
Yeah. And they've only
NFL.
been successful because of Aaron Rodgers, not helped him to be even more successful.
Right.
Brett Favre was 2-3 in NFC title.
He went
games.
to 5?
That's correct. So he lost to the Cowboys in 95.
Oh, that was the last run for Troy and Barry Switzer.
38-27.
Okay.
Then he won.
It was 38-27?
Yeah, Cowboys whipped them. How about them boys?
So it was still Troy, Emmett, Urban.
Yeah, 95,
Aikman.
yeah.
Oh, I just said Troy. Interesting.
So
right, go ahead.
In 96, the Packers beat the Panthers 30-13.
Whoa.
In 97, so he made 3 straight. 95, 96, 97, they made the NFC title game 3 straight times. They won
kidding.
They won 2 of them. So then the second year in
Do you
97.
know how hard that is?
Oh, again, even
Extremely
the Patriots
difficult.
don't do it every single year. As dominant as they were, they didn't make it every year. And then in 97, Packers won 23-10 over your 49ers.
In when?
97. So 3
was
straight
Steve
years.
Young still playing, or did they have that redheaded guy that was married to, I think, a Playboy playmate? What was his name? Jeff something?
He was a winner.
Jeff. He didn't look like he could play football, but he was actually pretty good. Redheaded quarterback for the 49ers. He was from an obscure place, I think, like East Carolina or something.
Jeff Brom.
No.
He was on that team. He was the
Garcia.
third-string quarterback.
Garcia.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Garcia.
Real Eric says Young was still there.
Steve Young was there. He was the starter.
All right, so Garcia was later.
He was 36.
Who?
Steve
Young
was 36 that season.
He'll always be underrated because he followed Montana.
Yeah.
So Favre went to 5 NFC championship games.
3 straight, 95, 96, 90. And here, this is why I asked the question about underachieving. And it's not it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek.
I don't think they surrounded him
exactly
with who they should have surrounded him
From
with.
1997 to 2007, they did not make the NFC title game again. Now, again, you could say, well, Blake, the Cowboys haven't made it in 25. That's right, but they didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback at the helm for 10 straight seasons and not. That's the difference, I guess, is my question. So, like, from 1997 to 07, they don't make it. In 07, they lose to Eli and the Giants.
Right, I told you about that earlier,
Overtime.
where Eli went on the road to Lambeau, and it was like -11.
Yeah.
And the Giants made now Strahan and that defensive line.
Well, they led the way.
Were nasty, but Eli and I guess Plaxico and a couple of them
07 would have been
made just enough plays, and they got out of Lambeau with a huge win, and then they went on to beat the Patriots.
Yeah, and then in 09 he went with the Vikings and he lost to
the Saints
in New Orleans.
Saints.
Yeah,
right. I mean, there's a big article about them. You know, that was the whole. Was New Orleans trying to take him out of the game? But I mean, isn't every defense trying to take the quarterback out of the game at the NFL level?
Favre went to 5 in NFC title games. His last 2, he lost both in overtime.
Oh, did he lose to Eli and the Giants in overtime? Oh, my
23-20 on a field goal.
Wow.
Lost to the Saints on a field goal.
I remember that. I mean, that was insane. Because Sage something, the backup QB for the Vikings.
Rosenfels, right?
Wrote this amazing article about looking at Favre coming off the sideline throughout the game and the way he was getting beat up. And he wrote this. You can still Google it. He wrote this amazing piece taking you there in the dome that night and the physicality on both sides of the line of scrimmage and what Favre looked like every time he would come off the field.
Yeah, a la the Dak Prescott Alabama game that we've always talked about.
And so he said, you know, everybody knew this was it.
Yep.
And you put everything you have in to get there. And it just comes down to a couple of plays.
And that Vikings team was good.
That pick that he threw, Sage talks about Favre coming over, and he looked like he looked like a guy that wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like he knew, oh my God, it's over.
Almost like he was not in his body.
Right.
Like watching it from third party.
It's a powerful, powerful piece written on that game, the ups and downs, the physicality between both teams. Because when you get to that point, man, everybody's leaving it all on the field.
Think about the Demons. And again, I know this is like a weird term, but like even as successful as Favre was, because he won his title in 96 and then lost one in 97 and never made it back. Think about what he has, like his last pass as a Packer and an NFL player, interceptions.
I know.
So, like, that's a weird juxtaposition.
It is.
How do you live with the success and also the massive failure?
I think it haunts him. I told you about the piece that I heard on him describing how excruciating it was to lose to Elway and the Broncos. I'm talking about Favre.
Yeah.
And it was just, you could feel it.
Yeah.
You could feel it. That was a fun segment, for sure. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Hey, did you notice something Sunday at Augusta National? Blake, it looked to me like they let a lot of people in. I love that. They didn't tell anybody. They didn't have to tell anybody. I think they kind of sold, this is what we're going to do. I think if you go back and watch Sunday at Augusta National, looked like a lot of people to me. More power to them. Welcome in. Good morning. The show is brought to you by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. Back in a second.